Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Dagobah. We'll review episode 7 of The Acolyte. As you can see here, we have our background images. Sean, do you like mine?
Love yours. Do you think that guy's
I didn't
metal?
know they had metal detectors.
I don't think it was a metal detector. It was a force detector.
Oh, that's what it was. That's right. Force detector. This show.
And my background is, because we started going the Mummy Returns on this planet where people are disappearing into clouds of black smoke and reappearing. So it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sean, last week we were in disagreement. I said that I really liked last week's episode, especially the stuff on. So I guess it's been confirmed not Octo, but supposed to look like Octo, whatever that's supposed to mean.
Officially unknown planet is what.
Officially unknown planet meant to look like Octo.
Got it.
I enjoyed those scenes. You, however, did not enjoy any of them, and you hated the whole episode. So this week, I want to ask you.
I think the term I used was dog doo-doo.
Yes, that was the term. I want to ask you now this week. What do you think I thought of the episode?
I think that you perhaps found certain elements of it interesting, the same types that you found last week being interesting, like the whole Jedi morality, who's the good guy, whatever. But overall, I don't think you liked this episode.
You are correct. I didn't like much of it. I didn't like, dare I say, any of it. Because first of all, a third of it was reused footage from the other episode.
Yep.
Which I guess that's what they have to do for an episode like this. But the payoff of 6 episodes now, 7 episodes, this is the payoff episode? I'm sorry. That was dog doo-doo.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I have to question what we said the same thing last week. There's only one more episode of this thing?
Yep.
What is going on? What resolution or climax are we getting to in this show?
I don't know.
Because now we've just wasted a whole nother episode. A whole episode we've now wasted on a 16-year flashback again.
Yes.
So now in the present, Sith boy Kimir has Osha on Unknown Planet, and she puts the Cortosis helmet on. Soul has May on his ship being held hostage.
I thought last week's cliffhangers were good. Like, oh, this is interesting. Like, not only are we going to hear this big story reveal, but also she puts on the dang helmet, and is she bad now? I was like, oh, this is intriguing. But sorry, continue.
Yeah, but basically this episode didn't advance any of that at all. And so now in one final season finale episode, I don't really understand what storylines are we trying to wrap up, because to me the Soul May storyline is just getting started because they just got together, and so now what are they going to do? And the Kimir Osha storyline is also just getting started because they just linked up. So
that's a great point.
So now I'm like, are we wrapping all that up in a satisfying way in one episode? I highly doubt it. I don't think that they're going to stick the landing. They haven't stuck the middle. It's just...
Why did we need this episode to be, essentially 2 parts? This was, episode 3 and episode 7 were the same episode. Why did we need them split up? What did we gain from this little mystery,
You know what's interesting about this too is that it's 8 episodes, this series. Are they doing a season 2? Maybe they're thinking, well, we're playing the long game and more of this is going to be answered in a season 2, but I don't think they've done a good job of having a self-contained season arc.
I agree.
It's 8 episodes long. We've now dedicated 2 of those episodes to this flashback from 16 years ago, and after which is a preposterous amount of time to dedicate to this flashback. Like,
so agree.
Like it's just an unfathomable amount of time they've dedicated to this flashback,
These
and
2 episodes should be 1 episode.
And even in dedicating that much time, an egregious amount of time to this flashback, there's still questions where I'm like, so they still didn't answer some of my questions about what happened in this flashback. What happened during that time? And so I'm like, you not only wasted time showing us this flashback, but you also didn't even use the time that you did spend on that to satisfyingly answer the questions I had. So I hate the flashback episodes. Like at the end when the moms turn into black dust and start possessing people. What is happening there? Are they all one hive mind? They're all one being?
I think out of many, one is kind of the idea, right?
And so they're all one being, and so they all share a life force because by removing the possession off of Kelnaka, they all died. Which I'm like, how?
That is such a terrible.
I'm like, did Indara mean to kill them? Was that just like a risk that they took that if they sever that possession or that connection unwillingly, they die? Like, what happened there?
That seems like quite an oversight. To like, oh, if we all possess this one guy, but then he doesn't have to die. He just has to be depossessed. We then die. Like, what? I don't understand why you would ever do that then.
And if you use a lightsaber and stab in the middle of the black dust, all your particles come back together, and then you got stabbed through the chest and you die.
Hey, at least you died. At least a stab wound to the tummy actually killed someone this time.
That's true. That's true.
But she was just dust. And what was she trying to do? Was she trying to possess someone?
Was she gonna? I feel like she was gonna add her life force into May. I don't know. That's why. So we learned that the Virgins or whatever is the twins, and they're the same being split into 2. Because they're identical DNA or whatever they called it. Their M count is very high. Yeah. They don't want to use the dirty word midichlorian, so they're calling it M count now.
Yeah, I'm like, we can call them midichlorian people.
But their symbiotes or symbionts or whatever they called it are identical, and even twins wouldn't have that. So then I'm thinking, when they're turning into black dust, so are they all are the same person, but they've created more of them?
You think all witches are the same person? I don't know.
I have no idea. That's why maybe I'm just not at the intellectual level I need to be to understand the nuance of the storytelling, but I feel like it was a jumbled mess of like what is happening right now.
I agree. Yes, I agree. Like, and the key thing I wanted answered in this episode is how were the girls created? And we did not get that answer.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. And I also feel like the big reveal of like what actually happened, I thought that it needed to be more cynical that the Jedi did something malicious, and I don't feel like they did.
Yeah.
Like this big secret of like what guilt is Padawan boy carrying around that he goes into a permanent meditation years later. What was he feeling so guilty about?
The boy just wanted to go home. They're our ticket home.
Seriously,
That's where I lost it.
he got possessed, and then went to go try to help the girls because they were the ticket home, and then he defended himself. Laser beams. He didn't even kill anybody.
No. Yep.
He didn't even kill anyone. So what is he feeling so guilty about?
I
That
think
he
he's
had to
guilty
go
that
into
he's the one that instigated them going back. The council told them not to go back, so they were going to leave. And I'm like, okay. But he's like, they're our ticket home. Like,
I just feel like it was weak. I didn't feel like
totally
what actually happened, like the big reveal of this is what happened, to me was not actually sinister or like the Jedi. It wasn't morally gray in any means to me, other than Soul maybe a little hastily stabbed into the black dust. But I mean, that's kind of a intense situation to be in, that the person that was just standing next to you just dissolved into a black cloud. That seems like a threat to me. I'm not messing around with that.
And
But
he
then
sees OSHA too, and he sees, wasn't she kind of particleizing too? Did you see that?
that's what I felt like was
Yeah.
happening. And then Homegirl, the other mom, who was very scary when she was yelling. Very scary mom yell. Um, Starts attacking Soul, and Soul basically is letting her elbow him to the face.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I'll just let you beat me up. Like, it's fine. I'm in control, but I'm gonna let you get your rage out here." So I'm like, it's not like they went in and murdered him and we're like, we're showing our power, and it's an abuse of power.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was any abuse of power, and it needed to be an abuse of power to make sense with what we were told, what they've been setting up this whole season.
This guy takes the 16-year vow of silence. You know, he needs to confess something to the council. Kaunaka, he like hides himself.
Tanaka's like, I'm going into exile because I got punked.
Yeah.
And I'm a little weakling, and I'm embarrassed that I just got possessed. So, and then, I mean, at most, what we saw on screen is Indara maybe accidentally killed them all.
Yeah.
but when Soul runs in there to get the girls, he goes into that room and they're all already dead.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how they died. As far as he knows, plausible deniability, maybe May did kill them all with the fire.
And the fire too. The fire was set by May.
Yes. Now you called that early on that she was trying to stomp it out or didn't mean for it to go like that. But I mean, she did start the fire.
And then somehow it caused multiple explosions throughout the building.
Yeah.
Maybe he also feels guilty about the whole. Remember how he was holding both girls?
Yeah. Okay.
He took away from May and went straight to OSHA. Maybe that's where the guilt is. But I felt like the guilt was already in place after he stabbed the witch coven lady, Mama.
Yeah. It just, I felt like, to sum it up, the payoff was not satisfying.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
And now it makes me feel like we have already handicapped the season finale because we've wasted an episode now on this weak story, backstory, flashback. And now you have to try to wrap up all the present day storylines in one 30-minute season finale that they're going to drop.
33 minutes. Yeah.
And it's just going to be like, okay, they're not going to answer all, they're not going to answer anything. I'm not really sure there's any questions anyway right now that are like really burning questions to answer.
Yeah. The only question is there another Sith? Maybe. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I understand that people want to not just have a really simple, oversimplified story arc. But to me, the bread and butter of a show like this or a story like this or a Star Wars show is there should be a villain and we should be trying to defeat that villain. And at the end, good triumphs over evil and we defeat the villain. But there's no setup like that for this. So it's like, all right, again, when you go back to the word resolution, what are we trying to resolve now in this season finale? There aren't many problems in my mind that are like, we've got to, the good guys, our main characters have to still accomplish this. I don't have any.
Yeah, what does Ocean need to do? What does Ocean need to do? What does May need to do? I guess the only thing Saul needs to do is confess.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I can think of. Because everyone else is dead or a Sith Lord.
But confess to who?
The Council.
Okay, so let's role play this. He goes into the Council. Hey guys, I wasn't entirely truthful what happened 16 years ago with Osha and May. All right, what actually happened? Well, we went there because we saw that their M counts were identical, and so we knew they were the virgins, and we were like, we've got to study this. So we went there uninvited, and they were hostile, and they turned into Voldemort and turned into black smoke. And so I got a little spooked. I got a little spooked when they turned into the black smoke right next to me, like they might possess me. So I stabbed the black smoke with a lightsaber, ended up killing one of the ladies, and then literally didn't raise my lightsaber again to anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all turned into black smoke, hive mind, and possessed Kelnaka, and Kelnaka almost killed us. But we were able to subdue him, and Indara was able to reclaim his mind and save him from the possession. A weird side effect of that was all the witches died. And then, because we didn't want to abandon the twins, we went to go save the girls, but we're only able to save one because I didn't have enough force power to hold up the entire crumbling structure of this building. And so I was only able to save one of them. That's the whole story. What is Yoda going to be like? You evil son of a gun! How dare you? Like, that isn't even really that ambiguous to me. That's pretty much like, you didn't do anything wrong there, bro.
Mm-hmm. I also would have stabbed the black smoke.
Yeah. Whoa, they possessed Kelnaka, and you were able to save him, and you saved the Padawan because Kelnaka was about to crush his skull with one freaking hand? Like, hey, that's actually, we need to elevate you to the High Council. That's the type of material we want on the Jedi Council, bro.
I'm totally in agreement with you on this. Yeah.
I also, and this is very nitpicky, I was a little underwhelmed with Kelnaka and his fighting style. I'm like, he was very slow. And at any point, I feel like Soul, I understand Soul didn't want to hurt him or kill him, but I don't know how Kelnaka's winning any fight because he's just like brute. I'm like, you're too slow, my man.
So one witch can take over the Padawan, but a whole coven of 50 plus witches needs to take over Kanaka.
Yeah, is that supposed to be like he was so powerful and so strong that they needed multiple people to take him over?
And why'd they possess the Padawan? Why'd she do that? Do you want to go home? You're here. Do you want to go home? Where's home? Coruscant? You want to go home, don't you? Just say it. Say you want to go home. I want to go home. It's like, I don't understand how this plays into the rest of the episode.
Yeah, because Mama Anastasia, or whatever her name is, Anastasia, I don't remember what the name is, but
Anastasia. Yep, that's right.
Mama say, Mama sama, Mako song. I feel like she was flip-flopping for me on, she's possessing the Padawan, and I don't know what her motive is there to get him to admit that he wants to go home.
Right.
But then she's like, I choose mother. Like, I'm going to turn
I want the girls to be tested.
Let me turn into black smoke and possess May. But after you stab me, my last words are going to be like, I was going to let her go. She chose you. Then why didn't you just communicate that from the jump? And we could have avoided this whole confrontation.
What was the black smoke about?
Yeah. Why don't you just say, hey, we're keeping May. I've decided to let Osha go with you. So go ahead and take her, but like leave us alone. Instead, it's all this. It was just a big misunderstanding, Joseph. Just some miscommunication.
I hate that plot device. I hate it so much.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess in the season finale, we're waiting to see if Osha will turn evil, and I say evil in the context of join the Sith.
Yeah.
But even if she does, I'm like, so what? Therefore, what? What's going to happen? Do May and Osha have to fight? Are they going to reconcile? I really don't care either way. Like they could reconcile and I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Or they could kill each other and I'd be like, whatever. Like I have no vested interest in whatever the outcome of this final episode is.
Listen, I walked away from this episode going, am I going to care about a season 2? I don't know that. Obviously, I'll watch next week. But it's kind of like Bad Batch. I'm just like, okay, like, if I'm bored, I guess I'll watch it,
Yeah, I agree. I will watch it. I mean, I will probably watch any live action Star Wars content that they put out.
Yeah.
But this is not. I think what's been disappointing about The Acolyte is that of all the shows that were announced, it was the most intriguing, that I was the most excited for, like, okay, this is going to be fresh, like a new time era, new characters. Like, I was pretty excited for it. And so it's been disappointing that it's kind of fallen flat on its face for me.
Yep. Well, that's it. I guess we should wrap up.
Okay, well, guys, what do you think is going to happen next week? Do you think that Osha is going to be able to take off the Cortosis helmet, or is it stuck now because it's too small and she's stuck in there forever?
Does it like shrink to fit?
You know what background I should have used last week was Leonardo DiCaprio, Man in the Iron Mask.
Yeah,
that would have been a really good one.
Yeah, that would have been.
Well, shucks.
I don't think anything beats a metal detector. Listen, we know that Gillette razors are in Star Wars universe and whatever those little ball throwy things are.
Hashtag ad, Gillette, we'd love for you to sponsor us. As you can see,
now just
we use your products regularly. Well, anyway, Joseph, you know what I'm going to do between now and the season finale?
Tell me.
I'm going to go back to the Bacta, baby.
Back to the Bacta. That's right.
There's a Bacta tank with my name on it, and I need to recover.
Got another flashback episode ahead of you. Go back to the Bacta. Listen, it would be a good resolution if in the final episode, this was all just a Bacta dream for Soul, and it didn't actually happen. How about that?
The only way they could redeem this, I know we're trying to wrap up. The only way they can redeem this for me at this point, and Disney, I know you're listening, so do some stuff post-edit in the next week, is if Ki-Adi-Mundi and Yoda himself do a tour of the galaxy and decapitate anyone that was in this show so that there are no witnesses to the events of what happened, and they just take the secret to their grave. They're decapitating Soul, Osha, Kimir, May, Venestra.
You're going to say something like Darth Plagueis.
No, they go on a killing spree. It's the biggest cover-up in Jedi history, and Yoda and Ki-Adi-Mundi are the two perpetrators that just massacre everyone so that this story it never sees the light of day. Now that would be a twist.
Now that would be subverting our expectations. Okay, we'll see you next week on the Dads of Dagobah. See ya.
Bye.